What is the best credit card for streaming services? Whether you're Team Cash or Team Travel, you don't want annual fees or you don't care about annual fees, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I was streaming when I wrote this, so forgive me if it goes astray. Life is just a party, and parties were meant to last. And if you find any value in this video, please like and subscribe to the channel to join our party. Now, I'll be referencing a website. It's mine, and you can use it for free anytime you want. Just go over here and click on sign up, and you're in. Have fun. So like I mentioned in the intro, we're gonna cover the best credit cards for the streaming services category. And we're gonna break it up into 4 groups. So we got Team Cash, and we have Team Travel. Now, Team Cash really is adverse to annual fees, so we're gonna break it up even further. So we're gonna have cards with no annual fees, and then cards that also may or may not have annual fees. And then we're gonna do the same thing for Team Travel. So no annual fees and may or may not have annual fees. But first, we're gonna read a few comments from you guys. I asked you last week what your streaming strategy was and got some really good feedback. So we're gonna read a couple comments. We're gonna go over the 4 cards, not in full detail, just quickly. And then we're gonna do some comparisons, and I even have some charts and graphs at the end. So stick around for that. All right, Debbie Does Diamonds says, CSP. We'll see if you're right. We'll see if you're right. Sandy Clausen says, Attune. We will see if you're right. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. We'll see. McKicky. CSP counts all subscriptions through the Apple App Store as streaming. I'm not Team Apple, but apparently if you sign up for any of the subscriptions through the Apple Store, counts as streaming. I thought there was a big thing where Apple took like 33%, so you weren't allowed to subscribe through the store. Maybe they resolved all that. I don't know. I don't keep up with you Apple people, but if you have an Apple, and apparently, if you subscribe to anything through there, it counts as streaming. So awesome. Bengals fan writes, I use the American Express Platinum and Cap One Saver card for all streaming services. He uses his Platinum credit for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN package. The Platinum has that $240 streaming credit, and I use that for my Hulu, and he uses it for his Disney Hulu streaming bundle. Biancaz says, I am currently using the Custom Cash for 5x back. It works for subscriptions that are billed through Apple and even YouTube memberships, except for Peacock. Yep. For that one, I use the Saver. Yeah, so the Saver has the Peacock, where I don't think a lot of the other ones do. Short and Curly's writes, the Amex Blue Cash Preferred card offers 6% cash back on most US streaming subscriptions. Yes, I am aware of that. Thank you. Alex's Neck writes, I like to use the BCP, which is the Blue Cash Preferred, for that 6% sweet goodness. It works for in-app purchases in iPhone and Android stores. So that's interesting because I don't do any streaming signups through my phone. I just do it on the computer like a grown-up. Sorry. Sorry. We buy currency in games, manga, etc. So it's good to earn more than 2%. Sure. Streaming services do feel wider than other cards too. I'm not sure what that means. Of course, the $84 in Disney, 6% in grocery are also a good part of the card, but that's a different category. Right. DG Reen, right? My Disney Plus and Pandora subscriptions are charged through Apple, so those go on my Apple card for 3% cash back. Netflix is charged to my Saver for 3% cash back, and YouTube TV and YouTube Premium don't count as streaming with the Saver for some reason, so those go on my Venture X for 2x back. That's interesting. Saver doesn't cover that, if that's true, because I think there are at least several that cover that on the list today. I actually have that Saver does cover YouTube TV. I'm not sure about YouTube Premium, but from what I'm looking at, it should cover YouTube TV for the Saver. So everybody put in the comments below if you guys are getting YouTube TV covered on your Saver card. Why? Bobby Y says, add another one for the Blue Cash Preferred. Using it for that and groceries pays the annual fee and a decent amount of cash back. Well, statement credit, which is fine by me. Jome DiMaggio says, CSP. We'll see. Siderzy says Ink Cash. And specifically, he says there's a on point Reddit post somewhere on this. I'm looking at 5x on Netflix, Spotify, Sirius XM, cable, cell phone, and remainder on the wife's CSP. I know including cable and phone as streaming makes me old. Join the club. But that's where 5x counts. Rest is kind of pennies. Christianian Relayed says, Kroger MasterCard has an underrated benefit where you can get their higher tier boost membership for $40. That includes Disney, Hulu, ESPN, and it works out to be a better deal than if you were to pay for a year of Disney Hulu on the BCP, the Blue Cash Preferred, even if you factor its annual credit and rewards. Interesting. Okay. Team Cash, I get it. You're all about the dollars and cents. You're as scared of annual fees as you are of flying in a plane. So here we are. And the best card for Team Cash, no annual fees, is the Discover It Cashback. I'm just kidding. It's really not. It's in a special quarter that gives 5x on streaming services for the Discover It Cashback card. Now, if we dive into this card, you'll see quarterly categories are 5x, and one of those categories for this particular quarter that I am recording this video on is streaming services. So it also includes dining and home improvement, and they all accumulatively cap out at $1,500. But if we go back, turn off quarterly bonuses and don't factor that in, the number one card actually is the Wells Fargo Attune. The Attune has a sign-up bonus of $100 when you spend $500 in the first 3 months of opening your account. Usually it's like $150 for these types of cards, but don't worry, that other $50, they're gonna donate that to a NGO nonprofit called Capital Link that focuses on healthcare. It has no annual fee. It does have foreign transaction fees. You have access to redeem your points in a travel portal, but no access directly to transfer partners. As for spending categories, you get 4x on a lot of lifestyle categories. We're gonna just focus on the streaming services today. So when the card first released, it was very explicit as to what streaming services it got, and this is what I got off the website when they launched. So you had Apple, all the things Apple, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Pandora, Peacock, note that for a second, and then Prime Video, Spotify, and YouTube TV. But on the website now, it basically just says cable and other pay television. It doesn't really go into the details anymore as to what that is. It may be somewhere else on the website. I can't find it. But from my research, it does carry all the big ones. So Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu, Disney, ESPN Plus, YouTube TV, Spotify, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Pandora, and even Sirius XM. Those should all be covered, but I do not think Peacock is. You guys can put in the comments if you use this card for Peacock explicitly and earn the points. And same goes with Paramount Plus. I don't think it applies to Paramount Plus. I can't find anything about Paramount Plus or Peacock. If you guys are coding on that with this card, put it in the comments below so we all know. All right, so now for Team Cash, where we don't really care about annual fees or not. Pulling off annual fees, we're gonna delete the filter, and that brings us the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. The Blue Cash Preferred, I actually just did a full video on this card 2 weeks ago, so you should check out that. It has a sign-up bonus of $250 when you spend $3,000 in the first 6 months of opening your account. It does have an annual fee of $0 for the first year, so that first year there's no annual fee. But after that, there's a $95 annual fee. Now, it does have foreign transaction fees. It does not have any ability to use the points in a travel portal or transfer to transfer partners. And for the streaming, it gets 6x on streaming, and there's no caps. So there's caps on groceries for the 6x, but there's no cap on the 6x for streaming, which is great. 2 weeks ago, we kind of went in depth and focused on groceries. Today, we'll focus on streaming. So also in terms of streaming, it has a Disney bundle credit that comes with the card. So you get $7 a month in a statement credit, which is basically $84 a year. that offsets that $95 annual fee and makes it $11. And then, like I said, on the first year, you're getting at $84 with a 0 annual fee. So you're basically making $84 plus 6x on all your streaming services. And as for what it covers, from what I can tell, Netflix, most likely Prime, the Disney bundle, Hulu, ESPN, HBO Max, Spotify, Pandora, Sirius XM, YouTube TV, Apple Music Plus, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously it works from users' accounts from the comments. You can use it on your Apple device and subscribe to anything. It'll apply to whatever you subscribe to on the Apple device. All right, now we're covering team travel. We're gonna start with no annual fees. To do that, we need to come over to the profile, click transfer partners. This is where we're gonna get the highest possible value for our points by transferring to transfer partners when that's available. Then when we come back over to the best card for team travel, where we're transferring to transfer partners and no annual fees, is the Wells Fargo Autograph. Now the Autograph has a sign-up bonus of 20,000 points when you spend $1,000 in the first 3 months of opening your account. It has no annual fee. It also has no foreign transaction fees. It does have access to a travel portal where you can redeem those points, and it also has the ability to transfer its points to transfer partners, and that's how we're able to get more value out of our 3x points, essentially giving us a TPG, which is the pointsguy.com's website, values these points at 1.6 cents per point. So when you transfer these to transfer partners, you should be able to get about 1.6 cents per point for those points. So that means instead of 3x in value on your streaming services, you get 4.8x cents per point in value. Now you're still earning 3x, but when you transfer those to transfer partners, you should see a value of 1.6x per point, which means when you compare these points with other points that are 1 cent per point or whatever, you're getting 4.8x versus 3x on another card that's just earning 3 that doesn't have the ability to transfer to transfer partners. Now the Autograph should have the same exact streaming services covered that the other card, the BCP and the Attune have, which are the Netflix, Prime, Apple TV, HBO Max, Hulu, Disney, ESPN, Spotify, Pandora, Sirius XM. So you should be covered on all those major ones. Just like the Blue Cash Preferred, it's not gonna cover Peacock, it's not gonna cover Paramount Plus as far as I can tell. And now for team travel, where we don't mind if it has an annual fee or not, we have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. The Sapphire Preferred has a 60,000 point sign-up bonus when you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of opening your account. It has a $95 annual fee. It has no foreign transaction fees. It does have access to a travel portal to redeem those points. It actually redeems them in the travel portal at 1.25x. So you get a 25% bonus on your points when you redeem through the travel portal. And it also has access to transfer partners, which is where you really squeeze the most value out of those points. Now for the streaming services, it earns 3x. But like I mentioned, if you utilize the transfer partner access, then you get 2.05 cents per point based on the pointsguy.com's valuation for Chase points, which effectively brings you up to 6.15x per point. Now, obviously that can vary, but that's the general value that you can get for those points. And again, you don't earn 6.15, you earn 3x. But if you're transferring to transfer partners, you should be getting a 2.05 cent per point value for those points, which brings those 3 points worth up to 6.15 when compared to other points at the 1 cent per point level. Now, I do have an honorable mention in the team travel category. It's a bit of a hoop to jump through. Not really, but it's a hoop. Let's just put it that way. It's a hoop. Now, we talked about just now the Sapphire Preferred and earning a value of 6.15 on its points. The Attune that only earns 4x has the ability to transfer its points over to the Autograph which does earn 3x, which has a transfer value of 4.8x on its points, which isn't more than the 615. But if you use these two cards together, as you'll see here in a second, so we'll go into the attune, which we've already covered. And now that we're in team travel with transfer partners enabled in the profile, you come over here, you'll see that you can transfer points to other cards. The autograph is a 0 annual fee card. This is a 0 annual fee card. And if you turn on this, because you're telling the system, hey, I have both cards, I'm going to transfer points I earn from the attune over to the autograph to then transfer those points into transfer partners to get that better value, that 1.6 cents per point from the pointsguy.com's valuation of Wells Fargo's points. And that brings your streaming up to from 4x to 6.4x, which obviously is more than the 6.15 that the CSP got, the Chase Sapphire Preferred got. So really, this is the better card, but you have to pair it with yet another card. So it kind of cheats a little bit, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, I'll even pull up a graph here that I got prepared for you that takes all of these cards, including that combination. And you've got the attune, you've got the BCP, and that's with and without the credit. So with the credit and without the credit. So you've got the blue here is the attune. So you're getting 4x on the attune, and obviously depending on how much you spend, I don't think you can really spend more than $2,000. I mean, I guess you could. Like if you had literally every Pandora, Spotify, Apple, if you had everything, you could get a little bit over 2,000. But you know, if you have all the big ones, so you're probably looking around $1,000 to $2,000, just depending on your spend. But I have it all the way up to 3. So spending from 0 to 3,000. The attune is this blue line here. Then you've got the Blue Cash Preferred. Without the credit is this orange right here. It does the worst. So if you're not using the credit on the Blue Cash Preferred, you are the worst. Now, again, this is just streaming. So if you're using the card for other stuff, then obviously you have to factor that in. And that's why you'd use my website's wallet comparison, which we'll look at here in a second. But if we're just talking about streaming, the Blue Cash Preferred without the credit does the worst. Then you've got the Blue Cash with the credit, which is the gray line, which starts out not great at all, and then when it goes to 500, it pays off a little bit. It breaks the tie with the attune. If you're over 100, it starts to do better than the attune. So keep that in mind with the attune. If you're only doing 1 or 2 streaming services, then obviously the attune is better than the Blue Cash Preferred. But if you're doing a lot more, then the Blue Cash Preferred starts to pay off with the credit. So you have to be using this Disney bundle credit or whatever for $84. Because it has an annual fee, the other cards, except for the Sapphire CSP, don't have an annual fee. So then we've got the Wells Fargo autograph, which is just solid across the board. It does get overtaken by the Blue Cash Preferred at the $1,000 mark. But before the $1,000 mark, it does better. Granted, this is with the transfer partners team travel. And then the CSP net value is actually down here. It doesn't do great. So it starts out in a negative 95, and just, you know, it's along the lines of the BPC, the Blue Cash Preferred. It's basically the same. But obviously the Sapphire Preferred has a lot of other benefits that you would use the card for. So using it for streaming services is just an added benefit if you don't have another card for streaming. In terms of streaming, it doesn't do great because of its annual fee. And then you have the Wells Fargo attune plus the autograph, where you're transferring the points over you earn on the attune to the, and that one just kills it. That slaughters everything in the streaming category. So you're way up here in this green line for that one. A lot of people gave me feedback on the chart I did a couple weeks ago and liked being able to visualize that, so I thought this would help as well. But again, all these cards you're using for other benefits. So, you know, if you are just getting the Blue Cash Preferred just for streaming, then it, you know, and not using it for groceries and everything else, then it's obviously not going to do as well as other cards. that you might already have or you can get with a 0 annual fee, like these two Wells Fargo's cards. But anyway, so it's just data point to put in your cap. And just to hammer that point in, I did the math, and the break even point on the BPC versus the Attune is $4,750 you have to spend in order for the blue cash preferred to break even. So if we come back over here, come here and take off the credit. So if you're not using the bundle credit, you have to spend $4,750 to break even with the Attune. So this is where they tie at that spending rate. And then if you turn, because of the $95 annual fee that the BCP has, but if you have the credit, then it brings it down to like $500. So you start, let me switch this to, I think it was like 550 or something. Let me see. It's gonna be close. Yeah, so the break even is $550 if you're using the Disney Bundle $84 credit. Then you're doing better with the Blue Cash Preferred than the Attune after $550 or above. And then, like I said, if you add the autograph to this, then doing way better with that combination than with the Blue Cash Preferred. And then if we up this to sort of a reasonable amount, let's just say $1,500, not a full $2,000, but let's not even go that far. Just say $1,250 and come back over, then $80 versus $64 for the year. And I mean, honestly, that's the thing about the streaming category is you're playing with dollars. I mean, so it kind of isn't that big a deal, but you know, if every dollar counts, then obviously we play this game, which every dollar should count. I mean, you shouldn't throw money out the window, but since the spending on streaming usually isn't more than $1,000, it's not like groceries, it's not like dining, or even gas for that matter, then you know you're talking about dollars, tens of dollars, not hundreds of dollars. All right, there's one more thing I want to cover, and that's benefits. So there's a lot of cards that have benefits that cover streaming through credits. And so let's come over to the benefits section, click on credits and discounts. And it just occurred to me, I should have a search on here so you can search through these benefits, but I'm just going to hit Control F, type streaming, and there's 12 that it's found. So you've got the Walmart Plus credit that comes with the Paramount, with the Amex Platinum, also with the Charles Schwab or any of the other investment Platinums variations that there are. And then you've got the Associated Bank Reserve Rewards Plus. This is I think it's an Elon. Yeah, Elon. There's a ton of these cards that are branded with different banks, and they have the exact same credits. They have the exact same earnings and everything. But it does have a $20 monthly health and entertainment credit, which can cover streaming services. So you could use $20 a month, which is kind of high. You could do at least one big no ads high def streaming service, or a couple of the smaller ones with ads or whatever would cover that. And then you've got the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite, which has a $150 lifestyle credit, which includes video streaming services, so $150 annually. And then you've got, oh wait, and then I totally missed the digital entertainment credit, which is, it doesn't say streaming in the description, that's why I missed it. But it covers $240 a year, so that's $20 a month for digital streaming. And then you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which covers a Max subscription ad service. So that's free with, and I'm pretty sure that's still there. And then you've got HSBC Bank Premier Card, has a $60 annual streaming credit. So, I mean, that's not a lot monthly, but it's something. And then you've got the Truist Enjoy Beyond, which has a $100 travel and streaming credit. So I don't know why they mixed those together, but $100 a year for streaming service, that could do okay. And then the other one is the US Bank Altitude Go, which has a $50 credit annually for Netflix, Apple TV, Spotify, and more for its credit. And it's just to kind of beef up its streaming points earning because it's kind of weak. I think it's 2x or something. 2x on streaming. So it kind of makes it like it's 3x with that $15 credit. But anyway, so those are the benefits that I just wanted to call out that could also help you in your streaming coverage. All right, so what have we learned? Don't take this category too seriously. Like, we're only talking tens of dollars here at most. So just use a card you already have. Don't get a card just for streaming. You can get a card that does well on streaming, but because of other categories, you need it as well. I just don't think going out of your way to get just a streaming card makes a whole lot of sense. Like, don't get a custom cash for 5x. Just for streaming and only use it for streaming. That is a waste of a card. Use it for something else that earns more across the year. So most of my streaming is covered through benefits or because I have AT&T and they pay for my HBO Max. I recently got Peacock, but I actually don't remember what I used for Peacock. I should probably look that up. Actually. Golly, I should look this up. I don't remember what I used for my Netflix. I'm sure I do something with Netflix, but for my Apple Plus this quarter, I am using the Discover for 5x. But yeah, mine's honestly kind of a mess. And because I don't really earn a whole lot on it, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but I should probably pay more attention to it. Regardless, let me know what you guys are doing in the comments below. I'm sure I got something wrong. Put it in the comments so that we all are aware of it. And if you find any value in this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Go check out the website, it's completely free. That whole chart thing that I've started doing recently, I wanna put that on the website if I could find some time to do it, where you can plug in cards and plot out when it starts to become profitable to use this card over that card. I wanna put that on there. So that's gonna be a feature at some point. It shouldn't be too hard, but it's just finding the time. I'm so swamped with a million things. Yeah, so 2000, party over. Oops, out of time.